Stop. Whatever you're doing right now, stop. What I'm about to say isn't for everyone listening. It's for you. There is a spiritual urgency moving in this moment, a silent summons for you to close your door. You felt it, haven't you? That almost physical need to withdraw from the noise, to stop answering calls that don't belong to your path, and to protect the territory of your soul. You're not being paranoid, you're being warned. Something has happened to you that shifted the frequency of your environment, and I came to tell you exactly what it was and why you need to act now. By the end of this message, you will recognize the 4 clear signs that have been appearing in your life and what they really mean for your next step. You will understand the single pattern that has kept you blocked, causing you to pour your energy in the wrong direction. And before we finish, there is a declaration of authority I will speak directly over your life, a seal that is the very reason this message reached you at this moment. You have felt a restlessness with no name, an urgency to resolve matters that honestly should no longer be your responsibility. You have seen repeating number sequences at times when you were most vulnerable or searching for a definitive answer. You sense that you are being watched, not by human eyes, but by circumstances that seem to align only to test your endurance. Those conversations you've had lately feel hollow, as if the people around you speak a language you can no longer translate or that no longer belongs to your truth. Take a deep breath with me. Let those images pass through your mind without forcing any conclusions. Sit with that for a moment. If at least one of these signs touched you, if your shoulders dropped at any point in the last few minutes, type the number 777 in the comments. The number 777 is the mark of the threshold, the confirmation that you are exactly where you need to be for this transition. Your fingers typing those numbers are your spirit saying yes to the protection now being established. It's the smallest agreement, but it's real. Type 777 and come back to me. What you've been living through is not a detour, it's a misdiagnosis. For too long, you have operated under the belief that you must keep everything running. Attention! It seems like out of nowhere, everything in your life started going wrong at the same time. Your mind won't shut off, the problems keep piling up, and you're left wondering why right now. But what if it isn't random? The greatest battle begins when God is shaping you, not abandoning you. And that is exactly why this was created. The 7 principles of C.S. Lewis for the chosen. 7 principles to help you recognize the subtle detour, the noise, the distraction, and stand firm. And you are not alone. Many who were sinking have risen back to their feet. Your turn is now. So don't wait for the noise to get louder. Click the link in the comments or in the description and stand firm today. Running, pulling strings that are no longer attached to anything. You strain in a direction that destiny has already closed, spending the breath you have left on an audience that was never paying attention. The diagnosis is clear. You are mistaking your exhaustion for loyalty. You believe that if you stop pulling, everything will collapse, when the truth is that your constant effort is what prevents the new structure from settling. You have applied the right hunger on the wrong route, insisting on sustaining what should have already been left behind. Now imagine your inner courtyard. It is the place where you keep your purest intentions, your reserve of peace. But over the years, you left the gates open for strangers, for outside voices, for expectations that weren't yours, to walk in and take up residence. Your courtyard has been invaded. The grass is trampled, the fence is down, and you feel exposed, not knowing how to reclaim the space that should be your sanctuary. Protecting the house is not an act of selfishness. It is a spiritual survival necessity. If you do not close the door, if you do not mark the boundary of what enters and what stays, your own treasure will be plundered by the routine and confusion you allowed in. Take a deep breath now. Feel the weight you carry on your shoulders beginning to lift, not because the problem disappeared, but because you are finally choosing where to place your focus. If something inside you just sealed shut, if the image of that courtyard you need to protect touched a place you can't explain, type the words, "I am here," in the comments. Let the acknowledgement cement your commitment to reclaim the dominion of your house. The act of typing those words makes your decision permanent in your own record. Type it and come back to me. The solution is not more effort. The solution is the return. You don't need to build a new fortress. You only need to close the door that has been wide open to what no longer serves you. Unlearning effort is your greatest challenge now. It is allowing silence to fill the spaces where there was only the noise of your futile attempts. You are being called to a sentinel posture where you guard the entrance not with fear, but with the authority of one who knows what is worthy of inhabiting your space. Letting go is not giving up. It is surrendering the control that was never yours to the one who truly holds command. When you finally stop trying to force doors, you make room for truth to enter without needing permission. You need to understand that your strength lies not in your ability to sustain what is heavy, but in your courage to let what does not belong to you fall. Calibration happens the moment you admit that the door is indeed being closed to what is shallow, so you can finally inhabit what is deep. Take a deep breath with me. Let the weight of what you have carried so far simply dissolve as you realize that authority is not something you earn, it is something you reclaim. If something in this message confirmed what your spirit already knew, let your like be your amen without words. Not as a metric, not as an attempt to reach people, but as a deep agreement that what was named here was named correctly, that your door is indeed being adjusted for the new moment. Sit with that for a moment, because what comes next is the layer that supports everything I have given you so far. There is a revelation about the authority you carry that most people never access because they keep looking at the noise outside instead of looking at the key already in their hands. You need to understand that the seal of authority you seek is not a title, not a position, not external approval. It is the recognition that from the beginning you were designed to move in spaces where others simply cannot remain. And that is exactly why you have felt out of place. There are people around you who need to hear what you just processed. Someone in your life is going through a spiritual winter. Someone who strives in silence, trying to keep their posture while feeling everything around them crumbling. Someone searching for clear direction, but only finding echoes of confusion. If that person's face appeared in your mind while I was speaking, send this to them now. Not as advice, not as an opinion, but as a delivery. Maybe they just need to know they are not alone in this crossing, that the fatigue they feel is only the prelude to a necessary change. Your sharing is an act of care, reaching out to someone who is also learning to close the wrong doors to open the right ones. The way this message reached you without warning, without search, is the same way it must reach whoever needs it through you. Before we arrive at the final moment of this conversation, there is a record you need to sign with your own movement. Type the words, "I am the chosen one," in the comments, not as a wish, not as a hope you expect to come true, but as a confirmation of identity already established. The agreement forming in silence between heaven and your hearing is an agreement you will live from for the rest of this season. Type slowly. Feel each letter. Feel the intention behind every gesture. Let your fingers do what your spirit is already doing at a level words cannot reach. This is your seal of recognition, the proof that you are not just listening, but embodying what has been revealed. You are no longer the person you were when you started this video. You are positioning yourself. You are recognizing yourself. You are occupying the place that has always been yours, but that you left empty for too long. From now on, your posture is different. Your vision is different. Your command over your house is different. You are being prepared for what is coming, and what is coming requires you to be whole. Keep typing, keep affirming, keep occupying that space. What you are doing now is the final alignment. What you are doing now is the definition of your new trajectory, where confusion has no place and authority is your natural language. Stop. It is for you. Something just happened to you in this instant. A sudden interruption in the rhythm of your thoughts, as if a silent voice just echoed in the center of your being. You carry a question that no one around you has been able to answer, and a restlessness that has grown like a shadow on a sunny day. You have been striving more than the people around you, trying to hold the pieces, keeping the house in order, watching the cracks, and yet the door that should have opened remains heavy, locked by bolts you didn't place. There is a reason, and now you will hear the answer. By the end, you will recognize the signs that have been appearing in your life and what they really mean. You will understand the single pattern that has been blocking what you so desperately seek, that tiresome repetition of fighting against what should already be overcome. And before we finish, there is a declaration I will speak directly over your life, a seal of authority that I believe is the true reason this message found you today. You have noticed certain things, haven't you? Those sudden waves of emotion that come without cause, the discomfort of entering places that once felt welcoming, the feeling that routine conversations now sound hollow and distant. You wake at specific hours with a mental clarity that doesn't belong to the early morning, as if you are being called to a sentinel post you didn't know you occupied. Repeating numbers appear on your clock, on your phone screen, on receipts, as if the very fabric of reality is trying to show you something your physical eyes cannot yet decipher. And more than anything, there is that silent certainty that something has changed, that the ground beneath your feet is no longer the same, even though the landscape looks identical. It's the smallest agreement, but it's real. 777 represents the threshold, the turning point where what was hidden becomes visible. What is happening to you is not chance. It is calibration. Your fatigue is not weakness. It is the weight of carrying an authority you haven't yet learned to use. You have been operating as if pulling strings that are no longer attached to anything. You strain to maintain harmony in environments that have already been discarded by your own growth. You mistake your loyalty to a past that has ended for your mission in the present. It's like trying to keep a house lit with candles when the sun has already risen outside. You are performing for an audience that was never paying attention, and that has drained your vital reserve. Imagine now an old courtyard, a structure that has always been yours, but over time was invaded by noise, by presences not invited, by a disorder that is not yours. The windows are open to winds that bring dust, and the main door, which should be your boundary, has swung with every external movement. Let the acknowledgement seal where it has just landed. The act of typing those words makes the witness permanent in your own record. Type it and come back to me. This courtyard is your domain, and the solution is not to fight the invaders, it is to reclaim your sentinel posture. You don't need to strive to expel the disorder, you only need to close the door. Stop answering calls that aren't yours. Stop trying to justify your light to those who prefer the shadows. Your authority is intrinsic. It's not something you build, it's something you admit. The seal of the morning is the first thing you must do when you wake. Breathe deeply and declare that your house is under your guard, that no entry will be permitted for what does not bring life. Not as a metric, but as an agreement that what was named here was named correctly. You have been carrying a weight that does not belong to you, and that lightness you are beginning to feel now is the proof that the transfer has been made. There is someone in your life who needs this exact message right now. Someone who has been striving more than everyone around them and still sees the door closed. Someone who walks silently in a way no one around can explain. Someone whose face just appeared in your mind while I was speaking. Send this to that person, not as a recommendation, as a delivery, the same way it reached you, by summons. Before this ends, type the words "I am the chosen one" in the comments. Not as a wish, not as a hope, as a confirmation. Type slowly. Let your fingers do what your spirit is already doing. Stop. It is for you. There is a spiritual urgency crossing this instant, a silent need to close the openings that have been draining your vital force. You feel that over the last few days, something has been trying to access what should be your place of peace. You perceive that your energy is being scattered in directions that bear no fruit. I came here to show you exactly how to reclaim the key to your own house. By the end, you will recognize the signs that have been appearing in your life, understand the pattern of exhaustion blocking your path, and finally receive the revelation that seals your authority over this season. You have noticed waves of restlessness that arise without apparent reason. Conversations that once flowed naturally now feel empty, as if there is background noise preventing true connection. You have woken at constant hours, feeling as if someone were knocking at the door of a place you swore to keep protected. Numbers repeat before your eyes, insistent, asking you to pay attention to what others ignore. It's the smallest agreement, but it's real. What you are living is not chance. It is a call to recognize that you have been trying to pull strings that are no longer attached to anything. You have invested your best in soil that does not flourish, mistaking your fatigue for loyalty. You perform for an audience that was never paying attention. The diagnosis is clear. You are operating from a system of effort that ignores your own essence. It is as if you live in an inner courtyard that has always been yours, but through neglect or unconscious permission, it became a corridor for the anxieties and demands of others. Imagine your inner courtyard as a refuge designed for rest and clarity. Over time, you left the gates unlocked. Worries that were not yours entered, voices that drowned out your intuition entered, demands that drained your sap entered. Type it and come back to me. The solution is not to build higher walls, but to return to the sentinel posture. The courtyard is only invaded because the guardian forgot their post. You don't need more effort. You need more memory. Remember who you are. Unlearn the need to please what is external and soften your heart for what is essential. It is a process of withdrawal. Take a deep breath with me. Let it settle in the part of you that has waited longest to hear this. You begin to realize that authority is not something you ask for. It is something you assume through silence and presence. The seal of authority is your capacity to say no to what disorders your peace. You have been walking as if a guest in your own life, when in truth you are the owner of the house. With each breath, you recover the awareness that your presence is the boundary that defines what enters and what remains. What comes next is the layer beneath the layer, the deep consciousness that protection begins in your internal declaration. You are no longer what was carried by circumstances, but the one who sets the tone of your own season. Every step you take from now on is a conscious step of one who knows the value of their own time and the importance of guarding what flourishes within. The recognition of this is the first measure of a new way of existing, where the door only opens for what brings life, and what does not bring life simply loses access to your presence. Someone who walks silently in a way no one around can explain, carrying a weight that does not belong to them, someone whose face just appeared in your mind while I was speaking, that countenance of one seeking a way out in secret, sustaining a dignity no one else sees. Send this to that person, not as a recommendation, not as advice, but as a delivery, a notice that they don't have to carry the world alone, not as a metric, but as a deep agreement that what was named here was named correctly, recognizing the alignment that truth brings to your consciousness, not as a wish, not as a distant hope, but as an absolute confirmation. Type slowly, feel the weight of each letter. Let your fingers do what your spirit is already doing. Stop. It is for you. Something just happened to you in this moment. By the end of this message, you will recognize the signs that have been emerging in your life, understand the pattern that has blocked your peace, and receive the seal of authority you need to take your place. You have felt a constant restlessness, as if something is out of place even when everything seems calm. You perceive repeating numbers at unexpected moments and feel as if you are being watched by a force you cannot name. It's the smallest agreement, but it's real. You have operated in the exhaustion of one who pulls strings that are no longer attached to anything. Your effort has been applied on the wrong route, for an audience that was never paying attention. It is as if your inner courtyard has been invaded by voices that should not be there, a silent invasion that drained your energy. But if something inside you just sealed shut, if the image I showed you fell into a place you cannot explain, type the words "I am here" in the comments. Type it and come back to me. The solution is not more struggle. It is the return to the sentinel posture. The courtyard of your life was invaded because the guardian forgot their post. It is a process of withdrawal. Take a deep breath with me. Send this to that person. You are committed. You are sent. You are being led. Right now, all over the world, other people are receiving this same recognition, awakening to the authority of their own spiritual houses. You are part of something that does not announce itself with noise, and that is exactly why it is real. Attention! It seems like out of nowhere, everything in your life started going wrong at the same time. Your mind won't shut off, the problems keep piling up, and you're left wondering why right now. But what if it isn't random? The greatest battle begins when God is shaping you, not abandoning you. And that is exactly why this was created. The 7 principles of C.S. Lewis for the chosen. 7 principles to help you recognize the subtle detour, the noise, the distraction, and stand firm. And you are not alone. Many who were sinking have risen back to their feet. Your turn is now. So don't wait for the noise to get louder. Click the link in the comments or in the description and stand firm today.